There's a software or AI agent for just about everything. Lack of digital tools clearly isn't a problem anymore these days. But drowning in a huge number of paid subscriptions can turn into a silent business killer super fast. I was paying 21 subscriptions in my first year before I realized I only need 5 to cover the entire solopreneur lifecycle. Online presence, operations, sales, product delivery, and behind-the-scenes business management. All for about $57 to $185 per month. And I tell you in a minute why I mention a price range here. So make sure you keep watching and let's talk about how to save money with the right tools now. Hey, welcome back. Tobias here, former IT department head and recent victim of subscription creep. I had no idea what that was until a few weeks ago when I realized how many subscriptions I actually paid for. 21 in total. 21! So to quote Google here, subscription creep is a gradual and often unnoticed accumulation of subscription charges that drain a personal or a business budget over time. You pay for services that you don't need or you don't use properly. And when you're starting out, you neither have the financial luxury nor the need for tons of paid subscriptions. I went through my ridiculous list of 21 and I found just 5 types of software I can cover my whole business lifecycle with. From online presence to operations, sales, product delivery, and behind-the-scenes business management. Now, of course, there's specialized software I use on top of that, which is worth every penny, like Canva for content creation. But that's not part of the core software I need to run my business, and that's what this video is focusing on. If you want to see an overview of the more specific content creation software that I use, let me know in the comments, and I'll make a video about that. For now, let's start with number 1, online presence. I think we can agree that you need a website if you want to do business online. I'm sure there are exceptions to that rule, but for most of us, a website is just common sense these days. Way back when, there were 2 choices to get one. Hire a web designer to code you a website from scratch or go for WordPress. I chose WordPress initially and I hated it from day one. I never got the hang of it and all of the plugins. It just felt too technical and I lost interest. Hiring someone, on the other hand, to build a website for me was out of the question because of the price tag associated to that. Eventually, I came across Webflow and I've been a fan ever since. Even though I have very limited knowledge about coding, HTML, CSS, and all that technical stuff that goes on behind the scenes, I found Webflow intuitive enough to build functional websites. And that's the key word here, especially because there's no real code writing involved. They offer a basic site plan, which I currently use for my main website. And for most solopreneurs, that's probably enough. It'll cost you about $14 a month when it's built annually. The advantage with that plan is that you get a custom domain, features to make the page more responsive, and you get pretty good performance in terms of page load speeds. So responsiveness is a big deal considering that between 60 to 80% of web traffic comes from smartphones nowadays. So the pages need to be nicely formatted for small screens, while at the same time scale well on large screens. Page load speeds are important on the other hand because a website loading slowly is the number 1 reason why potential customers click away. That's all part of the basic Webflow site plan, so you don't need to worry about that. Now, if you want to write a blog or upload lots of content to your site, the CMS plan, which is roughly $23 per month, might be a better choice for you. And this simply allows you to manage dynamic content like blog posts, YouTube videos, or portfolio items more easily. Of course, there are other website builders out there, Wix, Squarespace, and whatnot. So why Webflow? Personally, I really like it because of the control that I have over the settings and the clean look. It can do more than just give me a generic template where I change text and images. To me, the website is like a suit and tie in consulting. If it looks cheap, you make a bad first impression and lose the lead. Webflow has that polished look I'm after while still keeping it on a budget. At the end of the day, the choice of tool depends on your specific circumstances, of course. I think that's pretty obvious. Some businesses might be better off with a more generic template from another website builder. For sure, there's nothing wrong with that. The key point is that I recommend a professional online presence as the first of the 5 tools for the solopreneur lifecycle. Now, tool number 2 is for business operations, specifically Google Workspace for emailing, calendar, cloud storage, if you want to go for that, or video conferencing, but also Google Docs and Sheets. Plus, it comes with reasonable security features. I see so many new business owners trying to run their business from a generic @gmail.com or @outlook.com address. You can do that. It's just not really giving a professional vibe. For as little as $8 a month, you get a custom domain email like you@yourbusiness.com. And that's a huge credibility booster right from the start. You get up to 30 gigabytes of pooled storage if I remember correctly. So for a solopreneur, that's plenty of space for documents, client contracts, and all the other assets. You also get Google Meet for video calls, Google Docs, Google Sheets, and slides. That's an entire ecosystem for business operations right there. And when you're just starting out, it's more than enough. Plus, cybersecurity is covered with functions like two-factor authentication and spam filtering. Before I made the switch to Google Workspace, I literally had 7 different email addresses that I was using. For me, it was a step towards streamlining operations then and going for a lean tech stack. Less logins and passwords to worry about, which makes my business a tiny bit more secure as well. At the end of the day, Google Workspace seems really boring, but it's a reliable tool that just works. It's not about having the best email client, the best cloud storage, and the best word processor as separate apps. It's about having a system where all these things work together as one. Nowadays, you even have Gemini AI built into Google Workspace, giving you things like smart replies in Gmail, formula generation in Sheets, and document summaries in Docs. I definitely value this all-in-one solution. Next up in the solopreneur lifecycle is sales, or better, a tool to talk to people. You have the website, you have the email, but how do people talk to you? If you're playing email ping pong to schedule meetings, you're wasting hours of your life every week and probably frustrate your clients. I found Calendly to be the best solution to both. It protects my time and keeps clients happy because of the streamlined process they go through. It's literally as simple as setting your availability, sending a booking link, and the client can choose a time slot that's available. I never have to worry about time zones either, by the way, because the time zone conversion is built right in, which is a lifesaver if you work internationally like I do. So while there is a free plan, the paid plans are a great choice for solopreneurs because they also allow for workflows where you can send automated reminder emails, for example, and thank you notes after a call. You get to set up multiple event types like 30-minute discovery calls or 60-minute paid consultations, and that means there's a payment integration as well. So you can actually charge for your time right at the point of booking via Stripe or PayPal. Calendly also integrates with Google Workspace, the calendar specifically, to make sure you never get double booked. I like it because it's easy to use. I don't need to spend days learning how to set things up, and it's cheap. So let's see where we stand price-wise now with online presence, operations, and sales covered. Now, the Webflow basic site plan for a website will cost you $14 a month. Google Workspace is around $8 at the moment, and Calendly around $10. Now, part 4 of the solopreneur lifecycle is product delivery. If you sell downloadables like PDF templates, your own ebooks or guides, you need a way to get the product to the customer, period. Emailing them as a document or a link might work in the beginning, but it's not a scalable or efficient way of doing business. It gets even more complicated if you want to sell an online course where people need to log in somewhere to gain access to the material. So I mentioned a price range of $57 to $185 a month earlier to cover 5 types of software for the business lifecycle. In case of product delivery, you have 2 choices. The cheaper one is to expand your Webflow site plan and go for a higher tier, an e-commerce plan that allows you to add an online store to your website, with customer login options and payment processing. It's the cheaper option that comes with a higher initial time investment to set it up in the beginning. The option I use and I recommend for now is the more expensive but way simpler one to set up, in my opinion. It's Kajabi and it comes with a price tag of about $145 a month. Now, that's super pricey compared to the other tools we talked about so far, but you basically get an email marketing tool similar to ConvertKit or MailChimp, a hosting platform for online courses like Teachable, a sales funnel builder, and now also fully integrated checkout cart systems, all in one place. So with Kajabi, you have a place for your downloadables. You can host video courses, run your email marketing campaigns, build landing pages for specific products, and process payments. The price tag is steep. I definitely see that and I agree, but the value here isn't just money, it's integration. You don't have to worry about your email software not talking to your core software. When someone buys, they get access instantly and they get added to your newsletter or your email list automatically. It is this business in one box idea again that we also have with Google Workspace for operations. So if you're serious about monetizing your expertise, Kajabi can certainly be the engine that drives the car. If you choose that option, the total of your monthly subscription fees are now around $175. But hey, that's my personal opinion. Is there another tool in your tech stack that you recommend? Or do you disagree with my choice? Let me know in the comments below. The fifth and final tool we have to consider in the solopreneur lifecycle is for business management. I'm talking project management, but also a place for random notes, a system to archive processes or SOPs. Personally, I scaled back software use for this one and moved all my files and documents to a NAS or network attached storage, which, if you're not familiar with, is like a mini server where my files are stored locally in a way that I can access them from anywhere at any time. So I don't pay a subscription for that, but instead made a one-time purchase to get serious hard drive capacity that'll be useful for years to come. And for me, that was the best choice at the time, because I'm moving away from day-to-day project management and more into content creation and education. However, if you're looking for that software that can do a bit of everything, like file storage, organization, project management, and so on, Notion is probably a good choice to start with. I've used it in the past, so I know you can track tasks with to-do lists, draft YouTube scripts, manage client CRM data, and store your SOPs in there as well. The great thing about Notion is really flexibility. And you can start with a blank page to build project management systems that fit your brain, not someone else's workflow. Pricing-wise, Notion has a free tier that works for many solo users. However, the Plus plan is worth it if you want unlimited file uploads and track document version history, for example. As I said, not the right choice for me at the moment, but clearly an option to complete that solopreneur lifecycle with 5 tools. Okay, let's look at the damage price-wise. Webflow for your online presence, Google Workspace for your basic operation, Calendly for communicating with clients, a higher Webflow plan that includes online store functionality, or Kajabi to deliver your products to customers. And finally, Notion to organize your business behind the scenes. If you sum that up, you're looking at an overhead of roughly $57 to $185 a month to run a fully professional solo business with a focus of consulting. I think that's a reasonable price for significant leverage you get out of it. Running a business by yourself can be challenging even on the good days. That's why it's important to consider tools like essential software early on. Equally important is to implement systems from day one, though, to use with the tools to get maximum impact. So watch these videos next to see the 3 levels of systems I use in business to stay efficient in the long run without risking burnout. And I definitely see you there. Thanks for watching and see you next week.